streamed out to all of our students at the middle of and the high school, as well as some of our students in the upper grade levels at the elementary. We're very excited about that. Our technology allows us to be able to do that. So not only will you be able to hear the message today, but our students will be able to hear it as well. So with that, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. We have got his photo coming up here on the screen, but then I'll also welcome him up. Mr. Harrison White from Victory Ministries is going to be presenting to us today. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. Everybody hear me okay? So my name is Harrison White. I am with Victory Ministries, and it's an honor to be here today. So a little bit about what we do, or what I do. Victory Ministries, we're a men and a women's home located here in Fort Worth, and we've been here about 30 years. And we help men and women in all walks of life. People needing help with addiction, getting out of abusive households or situations, alcoholism, homelessness, and we give them a free, safe place where they can stay, they can get back on their feet, and they can get moving forward in life, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's getting back to living the life that we were always meant to live, a happy and productive life. So my story starts a little bit before that. I've been in nonprofit work for about 5 years now. I've been with the ministry for almost 2, and I live with the men in the men's home, working side by side with them every day.
A little closer to you. I'm sorry.
I'm getting adjusted. I'm sorry about that. All right. But I want to take time right now to thank everybody for coming out here, for supporting such an event. It's events like this that make me feel safe having my son in a public school system. It's events like this and organizations and hearts like these that actually make a difference in communities. And I say that with experience working hand in hand in communities, that it's efforts such as these organizations and these collaborations that truly impact the lives of young people. So if we could all give ourselves a round of applause, because what we're doing matters. It really does. So in the Victory Men's Home, we have people ranging from 17 years old to 70 years old, from all walks of life. And everybody in there has had a hard go of it. And a lot of it has been addiction based. We have a lot of people who have been in a life of addiction for over 20 or 30 years, that's all they've known, that it's been a generational thing, that it was passed down, that their parents were addicts and alcoholics, that they were absent in homes. And I feel now more than ever is that trend is getting more and more apparent in our school systems. Right? And so when I was asked to speak, I thought, okay, yes, I can come up here and I can do another PSA and I can talk about not doing drugs. But I thought we would talk more about what affected my walk. And what was that was choices. It was the choices that I made as a young adult. It was the choices that I didn't make. Right. And so before I go into that, I want to give you guys a little bit of my backstory. I think we do have a picture here. So this was me right here in 2018. If you guys want to look around at the screen, I was a heroin addict by the time I turned 18 years old. In high school, I was heavily using drugs. Started with marijuana, ended with a needle in my arm. It was alcohol, it was pills, it was anything I could to numb feelings, to numb emotions, and to numb the idea that I was scared to not be accepted for who I was. But really the truth of it was I didn't know who I was. Because what I decided very young, before I ever decided to say yes to a drug, is I decided I was going to be a yes man. Right? And I was going to say yes to the people around me. I was going to say yes to the majority. I was going to say yes to what was popular, to what was relevant, what kept me in the in crowd. And it was those choices that led me to being the man in the picture that you see. So the choices in life, the choices I made in my life defined me. It took me 10 years of being in and out of jail, being homeless, living in my car, losing custody of my son, before I ever realized that it was the compromise. It was me compromising on my morals, right, that was leading me over and over to a place of pain, of darkness, and despair. Right? And a compromise, I have a really good definition of a compromise. I did look it up. It's not my own definition, so I can't take credit for that one, guys. But it's accepting standards that are lower than what is desirable. And I think we should all desire to do what is right. That we should always desire to do the good thing. Right? And as I look back and as I see young people today, I can see that the choices we're making are not always the right choices. Right? I can understand that. So if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's what's happening. And that's what happened in my life. And that's what I feel happens in the life of a young person who goes towards drugs and alcohol and addiction and abuse, is we don't have the right things in front of us, the right things that we're willing to stand for. That we choose to go silently when we see something and we should say something that we don't, because we're afraid of what people may think, because the popular person is leading the parade, right? That we say yes to things like vaping when it's the cool thing to do. And we think it's just tobacco, right? But it's those small compromises that will give us less resistance when faced with the big questions like, hey, do you want to take a hit of this? Hey, do you want to take a drink of this? All right. And so for all the young people out there, I want to say, what choices are you making right now? Because our life is defined not in a few big choices, but in a lot of small decisions we make. Our character is defined by the small choices we make. And so today, young people, as we reflect back, I just have a few things I want to ask you. How many of you right now have a part of your life that you're hiding from parents, hiding from teachers, hiding because you know it's a compromise on what is right, that you know it's leaning more towards what is wrong? How many of us look the other way when we see something because we don't want to be the one to say something, because we don't want to disrupt what we think is the norm? That we're afraid to be shamed ourselves, that we're afraid to be made fun of, so we'd rather go quietly into the night than stand up for what is right. And it's that kind of mindset, that kind of silence inside of us, that kind of choosing to stay quiet when something should have been said, that will allow us to be desensitized when we're faced with big opposition, when we're faced with big peer pressure. So I ask the young people right now in the room and in streaming live, what are you hiding? What part of yourself could you not right now? How many people in this room could take your phone and unlock it and give it to a parent? How many kids watching right now could take your phone and give it to your teacher and not be afraid of the content that's on it? What are we looking at? What pictures are we liking? Because it's that mentality, it's those choices that are going to lead us to drugs, that are going to lead us to alcohol, that are going to lead us to compromise, that are going to lead us to not say anything when we see somebody else being hurt. And then that person turns to drugs and that person turns to alcohol to deal with the pain that they're feeling, the pain that was caused by other people because no one was ready to make a difference. And a difference doesn't always have to be a shout or a yell, but it could be a whisper. It can be a hug. It could be a reach out. It can be just allowing someone else to know you're there for them and not be afraid if you'll be made fun of too. Not be afraid to be shamed on social media. The sad part is so many people today walk into a room and think everyone just got done talking about them. Or so many people are afraid when they walk out of a room that people are going to start talking about them. I know I was. I know just that anxiety or just that nervousness led me to a path that I wanted to numb. And I did that with drugs, and I did that with alcohol, and I did that with just blending in. When really young people, you are blessed with the ability today to be more of an individual than ever before. The ability to shine bright, to be unique, to stand out on more platforms in more ways than ever before. And so I want to encourage you guys. I want to encourage you guys to look at what small choices you're making today. Look at what small compromises we let slide. Look at the things that we're being silent towards, because it's not always just about the choices that you make, but it's about the choices that you don't make. It's about the things that we let go. And let's start addressing the character. Let's start addressing the root. Because yes, we can say drugs are bad, and we can spend all of our time taking it out of the hands of our children, taking it out of the hands of kids. But until we start addressing the root, which is the character, which is the heart condition, which is the belief system, which is the moral and the value and the standards at which we operate together, in the way that we care about each other, the way that we treat each other, that will truly start making a difference. And I think that's what we're all here to do today. And that's what we're all here to do together, is make a difference, to impact this world and leave it more beautiful than where we found it, to leave it with more love than where we got to it. And I think if we can unite in that mission together, we will succeed together, because we're better together. All right, so thank you guys so much for letting me share. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot. I want to give credit real quick. If you can see on the screens, that's me and my son today. All right. It's been a long journey, but we're together now. So thank you guys. God bless you.
With that, I'm going to welcome Miss Smith-Faulkner. She is going to close us out today. And Harrison, I just want to say thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Harrison is also part of our Helping Hands and Caring Hearts. And today, after listening to him as we met him through that program, we said, Harrison, would you share your story? And so, Harrison, I know that's not always easy, but thank you for sharing your story today. One more big round of applause for Harrison. And I want to thank everyone in the room for being here. We're all very busy. When we look around our schedules, parents, you probably took some time away from work to be with your students today. We appreciate that. Everyone that carved out the time to be in here, and so that we could have these conversations and think about how we impact students' lives. I want to congratulate the poster winners, because I will say that in the 32 years that I've been in Castleberry, these were definitely the best posters that I've seen. And so, students, you did an outstanding job. Let's give them another round of applause. And I just want all of us to remember why we carve out this special week each year in October. And that is so that we can take time, we can pause out of our busy day and think about the dangers of drug addiction and alcohol abuse, so that we can take time to intentionally speak to students and young adults. So I encourage everyone to find a young adult or a child or someone in the family that you could have a conversation with, an intentional conversation about them, about the dangers of drug abuse and alcohol. The research says that when we take time and students or children or kids have those ongoing conversations with adults and they talk about the issues with abuse, that it is more likely that they will not use drugs or have alcohol abuse if they are talking with adults about the issue. So let's give them a 43% more chance or opportunity to be successful. And as Harrison said, to make the right choices, because they have someone to talk to along the way as they're making these choices. Again, thank you for being here. And I leave with a challenge that you will find at least one young adult or child to have a intentional conversation with this week, so that they have that they're making good choices and have an opportunity for success. Once again, thank you for being here, and we appreciate all that you do.